Hello, Diane. How are you?
I'm doing great, Michael. Thank you. I'm excited to see you all the way in Australia,
Yep, in the land of Oz.
the land of Oz. Yes.
And there you are at the Diamond Center in Northern California. So we've been doing lots of videos with your wonderful guests. And what are you doing in the Diamond Center?
I've been guided to open up a media show that actually enables me to speak to the guides that are coming through the various channels that I know. So it's not only bringing in one of the channels, but being able to actually speak to their guides, which is amazing to me. For instance, bringing in Michelle Castro and talking personally to Isis and asking Isis questions, and bringing in, for instance, Ruth Ann, who brought in Metatron. And Ruth Ann channels Metatron, but I was able to actually ask Metatron questions. So a little bit different than just asking the channels questions, because for me, the answers all come through a personal understanding from each person, and we're all different. We all perceive differently. And the guides that come to us and bring through information to us do that through our own understanding. So for me, I wanted something that I could actually ask myself without coming through the different channels, which was amazing. I really didn't know in the beginning if this would even work. And the first person that I talked to was Shakti. And Shakti actually channels Adama from Telos in Mount Shasta. And I'm very connected to Mount Shasta, to Adama, to the Telosians, to Isis and the Essenes. That's kind of my root connection. And to be able to bring in Shakti, who is a channel for not only Adama, but the Essenes, Mary Magdalene, that group, and to be able to directly ask them questions was quite amazing for me. And something that I've been guided to do, because each time that I bring in a new channel, it's with my own channel's guidance saying, and I ask, will I be able to speak to these guides personally as they channel? And whether I get a yes or a no is how I kind of respond to what's going on with me. So everyone that has come through that I have brought through here is with permission from their own guides. What I really feel is important is with gateways, there is many guides right now. There is many channels. There is many ways to find your ascension path. And we will all find our own connection to those that we resonate with, whether it be here at the Diamond Center, whether it be with many different guides that are out there right now. There is many. So I guess you could just say that I'm doing what I came here to do.
We mustn't forget the Stargate Experience. Please tell us about Julianne and Michelle and what they're doing and what you're doing at the center with the Stargate Experience.
Thank you. Absolutely. I would love to talk about the Stargate because it has changed my life. It has changed Michelle's life and Julianne's life. I can say that for my own self, I graduated from a mystery school. I am a shamanic practitioner, and I was studying shamanism and working with some guides in Mount Shasta. And at one of those meetings, I was transported to a star being up in the stars. And that star being took me directly into the center of Mount Shasta. And when I went into the center of Mount Shasta, I was greeted by different gateways, different portholes. And I was told that I need to actually be able to work through each one of those portals to gain the next one. And from that experience, as amazing as it was, I was guided to the Stargate Experience. And the Stargate Experience is basically a geometrical figure that holds consciousness. I have a geometrical figure, a large one, a 6-foot Stargate in my center here, but there are many. This Stargate frequency is around the earth in more than 70 countries right now. But what it actually does is it enables a person to find and move into a higher frequency when they are working. I am a facilitator of the Stargate, as is Michelle and Julianne Pergeet. We're bringing in an energy from the Stargate, a consciousness from the Stargate that is very, very high. And what it does when people are here, they're able to just relax with nothing to do at all. Just allow their own energy in these higher frequencies to become that of the frequency of the Stargate. And from there, you're able to actually touch the angels and the guides. You're able to move into these higher dimensional frequencies with these higher dimensional beings. And by doing that, you're actually able to move into your own higher self. It's a way of getting to know your own soul self. And it's a very fast way to do that. What Alcazar, the guide for the Stargate, says is you can walk to San Francisco or you can fly. So the Stargate is an accelerated, leading edge way of moving to a very high dimensional frequency for those who are ready. Many people are not ready for that, but there are those who are. And so I offer meditations here. And people that come here, it's amazing. They'll be driving by the sign that I have out front, maybe for a year. And all of a sudden, they'll drive in and go, I was really guided to come here. What is this place? And it happens often. It's your soul saying, hey, there's a place for you to go when you're ready. And for me, it's so enlightening just to see people come in and learn to tap into their own higher self. And that's really what it's all about. Because we're all moving into that higher dimensional frequency, whether it's now or later or lifetimes later, but we're all moving there. So this is a means of doing that.
Yeah, I can't wait to get there myself. And I'm curious, tell us about the logo.
This would be hard for me. The logo has to do with the chrysalis. And my daughter, who passed away a couple years ago, she was a part of this. And we were going to do it together and call it the Chrysalis Center. Hence the butterfly. And she is very much here with me. Many people see her. That is the butterfly. It's held within my heart. It is something that we planned on doing together. She's a guide for me now. She is a spiritual guide, very, very deep. And what she says is that we're doing this on the other side, creating a chrysalis center for the new earth on the other side. So that's special.
I'm so sorry for your loss. And on the flip side, though, it's so great that she's actually there with you still. And as we're now discovering, death is just a doorway and life goes on. And
she is.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
not a loss, it's a gain, but it's still a heart feeling, but she is very much with me. I have a beautiful painting of her. I have a wonderful lady who is able to connect to spirits on the other side. And I was guided to ask her to paint a portrait of my daughter as she is in spirit on the other side. And she was able to do that. The inspiration behind the Diamond Spring Center was actually quite amazing also. It goes back again to my shamanic roots and my teacher who has passed on right now, but she has a mystery school, which I graduated from. One day, we were in a huge auditorium, very huge auditorium, and my teacher, Lynn Andrews, was up on stage. And she looked down over all these people and she pointed and said, you need to start a drumming circle in Placerville. And I looked around and went, that can't be me. It can't be me. Why me? I am a very little person in this big, huge group. But it started something. It was almost like a little fire that started inside of me. And I came home here to my area, which is Placerville, which actually her father died in Placerville. There was a connection here. And I thought to myself, how do I do this? I don't know anyone. And so I just Googled, honestly, for another shamanic practitioner here in town and said, hey, do you want to start doing a drum circle with me? And he said, I haven't done one for 2 years. Why don't we start? And the next thing that happened, one of my clients, because I'm also a real estate agent, contacted me out of the clear blue. I didn't even know who he was, but he owned a big restaurant that had a huge room over the top of his restaurant, which he gave to me to start a drumming circle. Unbeknownst to me, this is all falling into place. And then after a while, that room was not available to me anymore, and I had to figure something else out. I have a little property here in Diamond Springs, which was nothing. It was a junk site, honestly. It was where they dumped things. The house was built in 1888, so not much here. And I said to myself, I could probably just build a little barn out back, and we could do a drum circle, and we could start creating drums here. We don't need to go into town. And with that thought came a design. And my son came in, and the design manifested itself from some tiny little barn into this really beautiful center that I have now, of which I don't even know how that really happened, because honestly, I didn't have the money to do this. I was like, you guys, really? How am I going to do this? And somehow I borrowed money, and the money kind came in, and I built this center. It's an amazing center. It's very pure and it's very amazing. And the indigenous people of this land were here before, which I found out. And even though there's still debris and junk everywhere, you can find glass and old bits and pieces of whatever, the land is transforming itself into something really, really beautiful. And this has all come through. And I'm just watching a deer walk by right now, and I'm in the city. So amazing. But anyway, divine design. This center has come to be. It's beautiful. And I will tell you another little tiny story too, because when it was finished, I was sitting here going, okay, what do I do now? I have this center. It's beautiful. And I want to do a little bit of drumming here, because the Stargate came a little bit later. And there was these 3 people that walked down the road. And I was like, who are these people? And they came here to me and they said, we represent the Buddhist monks. And for 13 years, they had a place where they did their sand mandalas in Placerville. And that place was taken away from them. And they asked me if they could use my center. My center is brand new. How did they find this center? I don't know. But they asked me if they could use my center. And that opened up my center to the world, really. Because for 2 weeks, those monks were here creating a sand mandala. And I remember I was up in Mount Shasta for a New Year's event, and somebody said, look at this. And I looked on KTRV TV or whatever, a TV station, and they were like, we're here in Diamond Springs at the Diamond Center with, with the monks. And I wasn't even here. And here they were showing my center. It's a small place in the back of a little house in the middle of a little town. It's what it is. But that's how it came about. And from there, it just grew. And it's very beautiful. It holds beautiful essence. So I was guided all the way and continuing to be guided too, even through the work of the Beyond Being Human Network, Michael, because that came to me also out of the clear blue. So that's how we do it,
So the Gateway shows are part of our series of presentations. Well, we're going to do something slightly different on Patreon. However, for a certain period of time, probably up to the end of the year at least, I'm going to make a 2-for-1 deal where anybody who joins Patreon also gets access to the Beyond Being Human website archive and activities, and vice versa. So we'll be publishing on both platforms. And you've got a whole range of different people lined up to come. please tell us a bit about what's coming up.
I'm very, very excited actually about the next couple of people that I will be interviewing. One of them actually is a family. And this is a very, very rare and beautiful thing where a husband and a wife and 3 children who have all had very difficult pasts are all coming together and working through the Stargate and moving on to an ascension path together. It's so extremely beautiful. And I can hardly wait till they get back from Greece, where they are now, for a global Stargate event. That's a really important thing that's coming up for me because it relates to people. It relates to what we're doing here, and feeling the heartbeat of a mother and a father and children. Another really important person that's coming up for me too is a man called Matthew Bueno, and he is what I call Big Bear Medicine. He is a real medicine man. He goes back to the powwows back east, and he's a seer. So not only is he a medicine man, but he is a seer. And he originally, at some point, blessed this center, and he left the cloths from the Native American tribes here in my center, and he blessed down below where my medicine wheel is, where he was able to see the indigenous that held space down there at this center. So he's going to be coming back in January, and I'm really excited for his presence here at my center, but also to do an interview so other people can feel that mighty bear energy. It's very, very big. Also, Michelle Castro, who channels Isis, she's been with me before, but she's been having an experience in Egypt where they were able to raise the frequency that had been shut down in the pyramids and the Sphinx. They're going to Greece to actually expand that energy. And when she gets back, she will be coming back here also. And to be able to speak to her and perhaps Julianne Kennard, who actually had a channeling in the sarcophagus inside the great king's chamber all by herself. These are amazing experiences because what has happened is they've opened up the energies that have been shut down. So these are some very important people that I will be talking to soon, and I'm really excited to be able to do that.
So Diane, thanks for taking the time today to explain all of that, and I'm really looking forward to what's coming up. I think we're really doing a great service, don't you?
That's the whole point of this center, because that's what it's for. It's here to help humanity. It is of service. And I feel that everything that I'm doing here, the people that come here, the people that, come just to be in the essence of the Stargate here in this center, it is helping humanity evolve. And that's my basic service that I am doing.
Well, let's sign off for now, and we're going to be seeing you on Patreon and on Beyond Being Human, and the URL is beyondbeinghuman.org/gateways. It's got the index of all the shows and information about what's coming up. Thanks, Diane.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate all the work that you're doing also to bring this forward, because you are a magician when it comes to being a producer. I've learned a lot from you, so I really thank you for that too.
Thanks. Yeah, I love my job. Onwards.